Welcome to Functional Talk, the Functional Med for the People podcast, where we bring you the latest insights and practical tips on how functional medicine can transform your health and empower you to live your best life. I'm your host, Michele Brooks, doctor of nursing practice with over 30 years of nursing experience. Join me as we dive deep into the world of functional medicine, exploring the cutting-edge research, evidence-based practices, and real-life success stories that will inspire and empower you on your health journey. Subscribe to Functional Talk on your favorite podcast platform and join our community of health-conscious individuals who are committed to living their best lives as through the principles of functional medicine. Get ready to be inspired, educated, and empowered. Let's dive in. Welcome to the very first Functional Med podcast for the people. My name is Michele and I'm going to be your host. And I am so hoping that I will get some great guests to share their work with patients in functional medicine. So stay tuned for that. This podcast is not for practitioners, but I can't promise that it won't be super scientific in terms, because we need the knowledge that is available to advocate for our health as healthcare consumers. So there are too many hands in the healthcare wallet. And frankly, I am tired of buying into the fact that when I'm sick, I need to get a pill for that. I want better than that. I want to know how to avoid having frequent illnesses. I want to know how my body works, how the gut works and connects with other areas of my body, how the immune system works, and what happens when I take a pill to relieve a symptom. Let me just start with an analogy. So let's say you own a car. Most of us do. Now, let's say you're like me. You want to drive your car until it dies. I tend to do that. If I want to do that, I'm probably going to make sure that I put quality gas in it, that I've got the scheduled maintenance, I'm not ignoring the lights and bells and whistles are going off on it, that I'm paying attention to that I've got decent tires on to avoid accidents and blowouts. Having had the same car for many years, I did these things. I didn't put cheap gas in that would clog the engine. I didn't wait for the check engine light to come on and have to get an emergency repair. And I drove my car for many years. Now let's flip that to people. When we're young, most of us get the standard checkups. We get immunizations, monitoring. And up to the last few decades, this was good enough. However, our diet has literally gone to the trash can. Okay. How many families eat out the majority of their meals? How much is prepared packaged foods? When's the last time you went shopping at the grocery store and stayed in the outside perimeter that they suggest? You're not buying your canned and your boxed foods with all these little additives with the 59 letter names to them. How much sugar is being taken in on a daily basis? How many chemicals are in your food? How much stress are you exposed to on a daily basis? It's not just it's not just adults either. Kids are being subjected to massive amounts of exposure to news and triggering from social media. And are we addressing that as parents? So my concern and my reason behind starting this podcast, starting my functional medicine nurse business, and my spiritual wellness programs are all because I have had to address a number of these issues. I have found myself in a physical disarray, just one hot mess. And I was eating a plant-based diet. I was running long distances. Back a year ago, I had run 2 40-milers in the summer and the fall of 2022. And then this last spring, I came to a screeching halt. I found myself having difficulty in moving my legs. I couldn't lose a pound despite my meticulous eating. And over 7 hours of exercise every week. I could not sleep more than an hour or two at a time, and often up for hours in the middle of the night, every night of the week, just feeling like I was at the end of my rope. And I didn't understand what was happening. And I was a nurse. For 30 years, I was a nurse, and I didn't understand why it was happening. I'd always been into some sort of alternative medicine. I always wanted the least invasive approach, the most natural treatments. But this was where I was faced with a fork in the road. And after these 30 years as a nurse in conventional medicine, I began to travel down a different path. As I began to join organizations such as the American College of Lifestyle Medicine and the Institute for Functional Medicine, I studied, I took courses in functional medicine, I learned about various functional lab testing, and I knew that I was going to find the root cause of my conditions. And I just knew that I was going to change my life. This was going to be a total life change for me. And sometime in a future episode, I will share my journey in doing that. But today, let's just get to the elephant in the room. What in the wide world of healthcare is functional medicine? So think functional, right? Think functioning. We'll come back to that. Imagine this: you go to the doctors, you feel like garbage, they draw some blood work, and it's what? It's normal. So, what happens with this? Most of healthcare is allopathic. So, what does that mean? What's that big word mean? According to Columbia University, allopathic medicine refers to a system in which medical doctors and other healthcare professionals, such as nurses, pharmacists, and therapists, treat symptoms and diseases using drugs, radiation, or surgery. It can also be called biomedicine, conventional. There's a term that basically means conforming or adhering to accepted standards as of a conduct. It describes mainstream, orthodox, and Western medicine. So, knowing that most primary care and medical doctors are practicing in the conventional medicine setting, they are practicing according to accepted standards, and for a very long period of time, this has been accepted and most often not a problem. However, when has a human body ever been standardized? There's so much variation in our genes and the expression of genetic codes. And then we find that there are other factors that come into play that can result in chronic disease. So, conventional medicine does explain why, when your blood work may appear to be in the normal range, using air quotes here for normal, you still feel like trash. So let's go back to the usual treatment when this happens. When I was in high school, I was totally out of energy, felt like I'd hit a wall. I should be young, active, full of spunk, rearing to go, living the high school dream. And I did not experience all the pressure to get into the best college or be the best on a sports team. I didn't have that. But when I went to the country doctor, literally, okay, the office was on a dirt road in upstate New York, he told my mom to give me a vitamin. Now, knowing what I know, I was severely depressed. I probably had some gut issues. I wasn't eating the healthiest diet. I was living in a home with a parent with anger management issues and verbal and physical abuse. And I lived in the perfect storm for chronic disease to develop. So here we are going to get to the nitty gritty. Functional medicine is a holistic approach to healthcare that focuses on identifying and addressing the underlying root causes of health issues rather than just treating the symptoms. It views the body as an interconnected system where imbalances in one area can impact the overall well-being. Now, unlike traditional medicine, which often divides these systems up into specialties such as heart, lung, kidney, etc., and it relies on medications or surgeries to manage symptoms, functional medicine aims to uncover the underlying factors contributing to the symptoms. This approach recognizes that each person is unique, and they consider factors such as genetics and lifestyle and environment and your own individual biochemistry. By addressing the root cause, functional medicine aims to restore balance and promote optimal health. Balance and optimal health are both terms that are used over and over again in functional medicine. If you visit a functional medicine provider, their recommendations may involve personalized treatment plans that incorporate nutrition, lifestyle modifications, stress reduction techniques, and natural remedies. The goal is to support the body's natural healing mechanisms and empower individuals to take an active role in their own health. Now, this may leave many thinking that these providers are quacks or they don't know much about treatment because they're not usually writing you a prescription and handing it over for you to take a pill and resolve your current symptoms. The benefits of looking at the root cause in functional medicine are numerous. By identifying and addressing these underlying factors, the whys of what is going on, it's possible to achieve long-lasting results. And not only that, but to prevent the recurrence of symptoms. It can also lead to a more comprehensive understanding of your health and provide insight into potential future health risks. Additionally, functional medicine promotes a proactive and preventative approach to healthcare, empowering individuals to make informed choices and take control of their well-being. Overall, functional medicine offers a patient centered and integrative approach to healthcare, focusing on the whole person rather than just isolated symptoms. By addressing the root cause, it aims to optimize health, promote vitality, and enhance your overall quality of life. I want to end this podcast with an answer to a question that you may have. So, how can I find a doctor that will use the functional medicine approach? Great question. The Institute for Functional Medicine has been around since 1991 and is a nonprofit. And when you go to their website, IFM, you can hit a button, find a practitioner. As of December, I have completed a functional medicine for nursing course. I've been working with patients looking at root cause for their chronic problems. I will be starting the IFM certification course this January, so I'm excited about bringing you even more knowledge to my clients and patients. Next week, we will be looking at labs because that is one of my favorite platforms to educate patients on. I'm very passionate about that. So don't forget, subscribe, follow, do what you need to do to be here next week when we look at what do we do when our labs are normal, but we feel like garbage because, hey, I have been there. I will also talk a little about our functional lab testing and how I've benefited and others I know have been able to find their root causes. And I can't wait. It will be great. In the meantime, I'm going to give you some homework. I want you to think over the next week, when was the last time you really felt well? Good question to ask yourself. Maybe you feel great and you're just investigating a new podcast. Wonderful. Great information here, I promise. Maybe you feel that you've been struggling. You can't lose weight. You've got some skin rashes. You're dealing with IBS. The hormones are crazy. If this is you, think back when the last time that you really felt well. When was that? Then think about some of the elements that can cause us to get off of a healthy track. Was there a significant event going on? Were you getting enough sleep? Were you eating a balanced diet or eating junk food or lots of processed foods? Think hard about all the details of that time period. Practicing self awareness is key in moving forward on the health spectrum. If you would like to schedule your own health consult, check out my website at my4dwellness.com where you can schedule your own appointment or you can set up a short consult to see if there may be a way for us to work together and help you get back on track. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you here next week on Functional Talk, the functional med for the people.